is, y'all? Welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'll be doing Nas Ugly from the album Magic. This was the first Magic album in the series. And when this came out, I was actually in Jamaica. Usually this time of year, I'd be in Jamaica with my family where it's warm, you know, get out of the cold, you know what I'm saying? This is my favorite track from this album, bar none, man. And yeah, like this track, I don't know. I've had this track on repeat like at so many different points since this album. This track is not like a classic kind of like storytelling track, you know what I mean? This track, I look at it as a piece of poetry, as a piece of literature. As a figure of speech, one of the literary tools that's used in this track is this this literary device called anaphora. And anaphora is like repeating the same word or phrase at the beginning of successive sentences. And in this particular rhyme, Nas does that very effectively. First off, the beat is crazy. The beat is so smooth, so soulful, just at the right place. And it's kind of ironic that Nas covers some really ugly subjects or, you know, things that had happened in this track. So it's kind of ironic that it's such a beautiful beat, such a beautiful track, but on the other hand, my man Nas is like really spitting facts on some ugly issues. You know what I mean? And as a tool, another thing that makes this track so special as a work of art, as a piece of literature, as a poem, you know, like I said, I'm thinking of this as a poem, is the use of repetition. Like repetition in this particular song is used as like a rhetorical device, right? So, you know, like natural rhyming and rhythm is a oral communication tool. And again, no genre uses these literary tools like rap and hip hop and black culture on a whole, you know what I mean? And when repetition is done stylistically, it helps the audience to remember and recognize the importance of your message. And in this case, the importance of the track, the name of the track, the theme of the track, you know, just the constant repetition of that ugly line is such a powerful tool. All right, man. So without further ado, let's get into this track.
Test. Yes. Yeah. It's ugly outside, it's muggy, it's muddy outside. 105 Fahrenheit, thunder the skies. The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. Under his eye, teardrop got the ugly.
Alright, right off the bat, just the way Nas starts this rhyme right here, sort of eases into it. It's ugly outside.
Yeah. It's ugly outside, it's muggy, it's muddy outside.
So right off the bat, Esco just comes out with some great bars. It's ugly outside, it's muggy outside, it's muddy outside. You know what I'm saying? And coming from a New York background, it's painting a picture of like the mentality, especially living in New York, the mentality. Like, you know, a lot of days it's ugly outside, especially like during the summer. It's muggy outside. In the winter, it's ugly, it's gray, it's cold, it's sleet outside. But you know what I'm saying? Like as a New Yorker, you get up and you think there's muddy outside. I gotta go get it. So right off the bat, that little rhyme, that little bar right there is just hitting right off.
It's ugly outside, it's muggy, it's muddy outside. 105 Fahrenheit, thunder the skies. The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. Under his eye, teardrop got the ugliest cry.
Like right there, man. And this is what you get when you deal with a master wordsmith, like a poet, like a literary genius. You know what I'm saying? You get like such deep, complex bars right off the rip that, you know, you really gotta like listen again and again and soak it in. All right, so the next bar, 105 Fahrenheit, thunderous skies. Like, so if you're not a thinking person, like, that bar is not even gonna make sense to you. The 105 Fahrenheit, like that, you gotta be a thinking person and know a thing or two about life in the world to even realize what that bar is about. So 105 Fahrenheit, right, is like the temperature you'd be if you have a fever. You know what I mean? And if you have a fever of 105 Fahrenheit, then you in trouble, homie. So, you know, like 105 Fahrenheit is considered a high fever and can really be a cause for concern in terms of like brain damage. So right off the bat, my man, is like, it's 105 Fahrenheit. You know what I mean? So right off the bat, homie's just like out there in the streets, in the world, in New York, in the city, any big city, USA, like, it's hot outside. Like, you gotta be concerned if you outside, like, straight off the bat. And then the very next line, thunderous skies. You know what I mean? That bar right there, like, you're correlating that it's hot outside, you know, things are serious, things is dangerous, things can get out of control in a hurry outside. Thunderous skies, like, there's a cloud over the city. Like, things is never quite hunky-dory in the city or in the world in general. You know, the very next line, he's like, the cloud shape a clown face over where you reside. Again, fam, this is what I love about Esco, man, because you gotta be thinking and really digging into the bars to get that, right? The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. So there's this poem, Kenneth Koch, yeah, and the poem goes, I actually have it here, let me see if I can pull it up. You just went by with no one to see you. Practically, you were in good shape for a cloud. With perhaps several minutes more to exist, you were speaking, or seemed to be, mouth open wide, talking to a belted angel shaped cloud that was just riding ahead. So a big clown face shaped cloud by Kenneth Koch. That's the poem, right? So my man is saying, like, even the clouds outside in the city, you know what I mean? The cloud over the city, like, no one sees it. You know, it's like the way things are in a big city. You could be in Manhattan or wherever, 42nd Street or wherever, among, like, everybody, you know, among, like, millions of people walking by. You could be in distress or whatever, and no one's gonna see you. You know, just like the poem hints at, that the cloud could go by with no one even noticing. You know what I mean? And the next bar, he goes to under his eye. Under his eye. And this right here is a very deep bar. For those of y'all familiar with The Handmaid's Tale, I'm gonna get, so under his eye, that was like a saying from the oppressed people, the oppressed women in The Handmaid's Tale. And The Handmaid's Tale is a dystopian novel, and of course they've made like a series which is like 6 seasons now, and it's based on the 1985 novel by Margaret Atwood. So right off the bat, my man is just like, under his eye, a teardrop got the ugliest cry. You know what I mean? Just like, and this is what I love about Nas. Nas can relate to like current events. Like, obviously this track Ugly is written like in the time period now with the Handmaid's Tale series on, right? So Nas is just like such a genius that he can relate his rhyme to current events, current pop culture, current things in popular culture. It could be a TV show, it could be a movie, it could be a novel, it could be a poem. You know what I mean? And this has been like true to Esco's career since the beginning. Some of Nas's earlier work, man, because that in itself is kind of like a historical snapshot of the time. You know, because if you go back to listen to work like in the early 90s, mid 90s, you know, he's making these like similar type references to pop culture figures of basketball players, athletes, you know, TV shows, movies, big movie stars of the time. And that's another thing I love about Nas, man.
105 Fahrenheit, thunder the skies. The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. Under his eye, teardrop got the ugliest cry. They call my city Gotham City, opposite of pretty. Weatherman cannot predict bullets raining from out the 50. It's ugly outside, Big L will be here.
Ooh, that line right there. And again, that's the use of that literary tool of repetition, you know, of every few bars he repeats the theme, the title, you know, the main point of the track. It's ugly outside. They call my city Gotham City, opposite of pretty. You know what I mean? And for those who've lived and spent any time in New York, you know, New York is a hustling, bustling place. You know, it's kind of cold. The people are rude and callous. You know what I mean? So Gotham City is kind of is like another nickname for New York. A lot of people right off the bat might equate Gotham City with Batman, and Gotham, that's been a nickname for New York since like the early 19th century, as early back as like early 1800s. In 1807, this Arthur Washington Irving wrote like a scathing article, a periodical about New York City, you know, and it was really like taking shots at New York of like how cruel and callous and, you know, how like gritty and dirty it was. So, you know, Gotham City, like even correlating that to the whole Batman storyline and Dark Knight storyline, when you invoke Gotham City for New York, you're invoking this dirty, unclean, unsafe place. You know what I mean? So I really like the way Esco has related that bar. They call my city Gotham City, opposite of pretty. And then he goes in the next line, weathermen cannot predict bullets raining from the 50. I'm not a gun guy, so like a 50, I do know a 50, he's referring to like a 50 caliber, you know. Mad shootouts happen, you know, I mean, not as much anymore, but, you know, like, it's New York, it's still New York, you'll still get shot, you know what I mean? That's a crazy bar.
The cloud shape a clown face above where you reside. Under his eye, teardrop got the ugliest cry. They call my city Gotham City, opposite of pretty. Weatherman cannot predict bullets raining from out the 50. It's ugly outside, Big L will be here if it wasn't. Hella freeze over the day it doesn't get ugly out. How can we hug it out after we slugged it out?
It's ugly outside. Big L would be here if it wasn't. And Big L was another favorite of mine back in the day, man. I still have that big picture, his CD, The Big Picture, somewhere on one of my shelves, man. You know, Big L was an ill young rapper from Harlem, man. You know, like Mace and Cameron and people like that looked up to Big L. He was a little bit older than them. I think when Big L died, he was still pretty young. He was like 24, 25, like on a block like he frequented in Harlem, you know what I mean? So again, Nas is just like over this beautiful beat, just like stating ugly things that happen, you know, in New York. And for that case, like in any big city in America, for real, you know what I mean? And then he gets into the bar, how can we hug it out after we slug it out, you know what I mean? Where he's asking like an existential question right there, like, how can two black men, two men in general, like how can people resolve their differences after, you know, they done like took it to the extreme of gunplay? Again, man, like this is just a piece of poetry to me.
The day it doesn't get ugly out. How can we hug it out after we slug it out? We should be buying niggas adjusting each other's crowns. That was your brother back then. How could you gun him down?
Yeah, so that whole line right there, just going back, you know what I mean? It's like, especially in black culture, black hip-hop culture, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, brothers, we call each other's king. Peace, king. You know what I mean? And the homeboy saying like, yo, as black men, you know, like you a king in your household, your family, whatever. I'm a king in my domain over here. We should be holding each other up. We should be looking out for each other. You know what I mean? So that's the interpretation of like we shouldn't be buying acres. You know, like he's saying we should be investing. We should be successful. We should be building for like the next generation and the young ones coming up. We should be adjusting each other's crown. And then he ties the next bar to the previous bar of like, how can we hug it out after we slug it out? So he asks the existential question right there, and then he lays in another bar, which is telling that telling you like in an ideal world, in an ideal situation, brothers should be helping each other. So the existential question, the ideal world, the ideal format of what brothers should be doing, and then the very next bar he's tying it back to the first bar, the existential question, where he's like, that was your brother back then, how could you gun him down? You know what I mean? That's very powerful stuff, man. That's just brilliant writing right there. And that's what you get with true professionals, fam. You know what I mean? And that's why I only listen to elite rap, man. I'm not, and when you deal with like Esco and rappers of this level, they'll say one bar and then they'll go 2-3 bars and then they do another bar to call back to that bar they set up. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's intentional. I'm assuming it is. Like sometimes Nas is writing and he's using one bar to set up another bar that might be 2 or 3 bars down the line, fam. Like that's just genius, man.
Back then, how could you gun them down? Yeah. Yeah, this is what I live for. The inventor, the reinvention. I'm reincarnated, see what it hit for, yo. Even your mentor.
See, like right there, that's a pun. Yeah, that's a pun. That's like just playing with similar words, you know what I mean? The inventor, the reinvention, I'm reincarnated. And, you know, Nas in all his writing, especially like in his recent run, he's always like stressing or emphasizing the notion of reinvention and reincarnation. You know what I mean? In that track, Big Nas, a man reproduces himself through his child. So he's always like stressing this thing of like, as a man, as a parent, as a person, you're almost reincarnated in your children. So, you know, if you're reincarnated in your children, you want to pass the best parts of you on to the kids, right? You want to protect them. You want to nurture them. You want to give them like all the knowledge that you possess before you leave this mortal coil. You know what I mean? So I love this bar, man. This bar is ill.
I'm reincarnated, see what it hit for, yo. Even your mentor could get you sent for, get you chipped off and miss a brick off. You hit a brick wall, damn big dog.
Alright. So that bar after the reincarnation, and this bar right here. So like I said, I was in Jamaica when this came out, and this bar right here was one of the most infuriating things I've ever seen. And so let's go to the rhyme. The rhyme says, even your mentor can get you sent for, get you chipped off. If it's a brick off, you hit a brick wall, right? And I was watching this reaction from this kid, and he was like, saying just some nonsense, fam. Just some total bullshit. And I'm thinking, yo, my dude, how are you a hip-hop head and you listen to that bar and you're not even coming close? Alright, so, even your mentor, you know what I mean? So, again, I'm not a street dude. I ain't never sold no drugs. Very proud of that, by the way. So, my homeboy is saying like, yo, even in the hustle game, if even your mentor, like the big homie that gave you the bricks or whatever, that supply you with the shit that you're gonna pass off to your customers to make money, he's like, yo, even your mentor will flip on you if the numbers ain't right. If the math is not mathing, even your mentor will send them hitters for you, homie. Because even your mentor will send them dudes, them shooters to get you if the math ain't mathin', right? And then the very next line, get you chipped off if it's a brick off. So if y'all moving that work and the math ain't mathin', even your mentor will get you knocked off, will get you killed. And again, this is just like cleverly, just creatively, just masterfully tackling these ugly subjects over this beautiful beat. You know what I mean? This line is genius, fam. Like, this line is just pure literary, artistic genius.
Yo, even your mentor could get you sent for, get you chipped off if it's a brick off. You hit a brick wall, damn big dog. Dove in that water and got hit with a cannonball. Ugly Christmas sweater party with a...
Yeah, that line is crazy, man. And then the next line is, damn big dog, dove in the water, got hit with a cannonball. You know what I mean? And initially, you know, cannonball, water, jumping in the pool. Again, back to my favorite, one of my favorite comedies, Anchorman, cannonball. Yeah, but like as a literary interpretation for this line, I had to like spend some time with this line and do some deep digging, and the interpretation that I'm getting for this line is like you dive into the environment of the city, you know what I mean, and you might be like caught up in the lights and you know the social interactions around you, and you think it's safe. Life slams you, you know, you lose a job, you get laid off, you know, especially like in New York, in the city, you can't pay your rent, you know what I mean? It's like you dive in this calm, awesome swimming pool, and you're thinking you're gonna float around and do backstrokes or whatever, and then like a cannonball hits you, whether it's a real cannonball or somebody doing a cannonball, and hits you in this serene, seemingly serene environment, and it's like, damn, bro, now you hurting. But yeah, man, that's a dope line right there.
Companies profit off of black trauma, that's ugly, mad ugly. Off. You hit a brick wall, damn big dog. Dove in that water and got hit with a cannonball. Ugly Christmas sweater party with no Santa Claus. Companies profit off of black trauma, that's ugly, mad ugly, just like Shanae and Wanda.
Alright, so that line again, man, you know, just the masterful writing. He's like, ugly Christmas sweaters, party with no Santa Claus. Companies profit off black trauma. And like, if you're a cogent person of color in the society, man, you know that for a fact that companies profit off black trauma, you know. I mean, all the big companies, all the social media companies, they love to show just, you know, like some of the worst behavior of people of color, you know, people getting killed on video, people getting knocked out, people getting brutally beaten on video. Like a lot of these sort of like ugly scenarios and ugly incidents are the ones that get highlighted and get clicks, you know what I mean? And that's all profiting, like these big corporations. So that's just like such a true line, man. Companies profit off black trauma. Ugly Christmas sweater party, you know, come with no Santa Claus. You know, that's just relating like the big corporations profiting off the pain and suffering of people of color, marginalized communities and whatnot, man. You know what I mean? And then they'll literally have their Christmas parties, you know what I mean? And you ain't seen no black Santa Clauses up in those parties. That's ugly, mad ugly, just like Shanae and Wanda. So yo, for all y'all young boys out there, man, like there was this comedy show called Live and in Living Color back in the day, which was, it's almost kind of insulting to say it was the black version of SNL. To me, that was way funnier than SNL. Could they get away with a lot of those jokes now? I don't know. But Live and Live in Color, man, you had people like David Alan Grier, you know, the Wayne brothers, Jamie Foxx, J-Lo, Jim Carrey. You know, you had so many just comedy and theatrical greats that were on that program, man. Like that program was hilarious. So all y'all young boys out there and young people out there, go back and look up Live and in Living Color, man. And Jamie Foxx and was it Marlon Wayans? Yeah, they used to dress as women in these in this show, and they had these characters Shanae and Wanda. No, I'm sorry, no. Wanda would be in Living Color. Shanae, my bad, was from the Martin show. Yeah, so Martin would dress as a woman, Shanae, and Shanae and Martin's girl would just get into all sorts of fight, and Pam would get into all sorts of fight. But Shanae from the Martin show and Wanda from Live and in Living Color. Go look up these shows, man. Hilarious. I don't know if some of the jokes would be appropriate today, but you know, funny is subjective.
Santa Claus, companies profit over black trauma. That's ugly, mad ugly, just like Shanae and Wanda. You've been through shit, I've been through shit. Every day is an honor. It's ugly how Mercedes Moore lost her life to a stalker. I'm on office every...
Alright, so the very next line, you've been through shit, I've been through shit. Every day is an honor. So that's kind of, to me, that's tying it back to another line, like several lines earlier, when he asked the existential question, like, how could we hug it out after we slug it out? You know what I mean? And then he's like, that was your brother back then. How could you gun him down? You know what I mean? This line is to me, is like tying back to those earlier lines where he's like, you've been through shit. I've been through shit. Every day is an honor. You know what I mean? He's like he's saying like, brothers should be like, yo fam, I've been through rough things. You've been through rough things. Whatever the issue is between us, we should squash it. Every day we're both alive and breathing and nurturing the young kids. That should be an honor. You know what I mean? That's just a great line, man. I love it. Esco's just tackling really ugly subjects over this soulful beat. You know what I mean? And yeah, man. That was a really tragic story. And all while this was going on, you know, it was all like around the time of George Floyd, you know, and police killings or whatever.
You've been through shit, I've been through shit. Every day is an honor. It's ugly how Mercedes Moore lost her life to a stalker. I'm on office every day until I see the love. KD3 on the way, this just to feed the buzz. It's ugly.
And this was pre-KD3. And when Nas dropped that line, again, I was in Jamaica, man. I had to go to iTunes, caught this immediately, and I'm listening to that, and I'm chilling on the veranda in Jamaica, enjoying, like, you know, some nice island breeze. I'm like, wait, what? KD3? And I'm like, is Nas for real, or is he just gaslighting me right now? You know what I'm saying? But then KD3 came out, and, you know, we know the rest is history, fam. And then he goes back. Then he goes back into using that repetitive literary technique of repeating. It's ugly. It's just a masterful way of doing the hook.
It's ugly. Shit's ugly. Yeah, it's ugly outside. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I see the envy getting closer through my optics. Knew I had vision before I seen the optometrist. I seen a whole lot of shit, never altered my confidence.
Yeah, man. Right here, for the next bars, you know, he's just riding. He's just in a pocket, just riding on the beat. He's like, I see the envy getting closer through my optics. Knew I had vision before I seen an optometrist. So again, he's just like cleverly using like big words, for lack of a better term, to just tie different bars together, you know what I mean? And it's just like, my optics, you know, that's just kind of street slang, New York slang for your eyesight, you know what I mean? And then knew I had vision, again, eyesight, vision, before I seen the optometrist. So it's just these three words that just correlate professionally and literally literally to each other to tie this bar together. Optics, I knew I had vision before I seen the optometrist. I seen a whole lot of shit, never altered my confidence or my consciousness. So he's just like playing with similar sounding words that are like almost like synonyms: confidence, consciousness, you know what I mean? But that's just beautiful, man.
I had vision before I seen the optometrist. I seen a whole lot of shit, never altered my confidence or my consciousness. It's ugly outside, stay dangerous, stay out the mix. Popping back out on niggas, homie, I'm popping shit, killing with no accomplices. Watching my rear view, the envy is obvious. It's up.
Alright, so like here, after he says, never altered my confidence or my consciousness, he goes back again and repeat the theme. The main thrust of the song is ugly outside, and then he uses an idiom, like it's popularly known idiom, you know what I mean? But just Nas's delivery and cadence, you know, make this very popular line, which most of us have heard like 100 times over. Stay dangerous, you know what I mean? Stay out the mix. You know what I mean? That's just such a dope line. And then it's like popping back out of niggas, homie, and popping shit. Kill him with no accomplices. You know what I mean? Watching my rear view, the envy's obvious. So he goes back and once again he ties envy. You know what I mean? It's almost like a callback, because several lines earlier he says, I see the envy getting closer, right? And then now, so many lines later, he comes back again, watching my rear view, the envy is obvious, you know what I mean? So that's just masterful, like, tying back to a bar, which was like way earlier in the verse.
Grown men jealous outside. It's grown ass women that'll have you set up to die. You really not a stepper, nigga, just step to the side. While I two-step on the beat, watch a veteran slide.
Yo, facts, Esco. My man said, it's ugly outside. Damn, Esco. That's ill, you know? And it's just masterful writing, grown men, grown women, and like these two lines are exposing the follies of, you know, grown people that are like set in like a arrested development frame of mind, you know what I mean? They might have been like the shit back in the 90s and early 2000s, and now they're older, they're still stuck in like the same mind frame, and if they see somebody like around their own age group or whatever that's progressing, you know what I mean, then they want to get jealous, they want to set you up to have harm come to you. That's just crazy writing. And then he says, you're really not a stepper. So it's like he's almost like speaking to that grown man jealous outside. He's like, nah, son, you stuck in like a arrested development state of mind. You're not a stepper. Just move to the side while I two-step on this beat. Watch a veteran slide. You know, it's almost, he's like, nah, jealous grown man. You stuck in a certain mind frame. Just move to the side and let me show you how someone who's been through an evolution and growth is supposed to move in the world, you know what I mean? Whether it be business or here on a beat, you know what I mean? Watch a veteran slide. And of course, there's that literary tool again, anaphora, the repetition. It's crazy. It's just really good writing as a piece of literature, and it's a poem, as I interpret this track as a poem.
It's grown ass women that'll have you set up to die. You really not a stepper, nigga, just step to the side. While I two-step on the beat, watch a veteran slide. JMJ seen them coming, but she ain't hit the buzzer. Marvin Gaye and Young Dolph, we taking out our brothers. Distorted faces, silent features, we kill each other. It's Mr. Ugly Man, Marlon Wayans and...
Alright, so I'm a pause it right there, back up just a little bit. So my man said, JMJ seen him coming, wish he ain't hit the buzzer. So in this little stanza right here, this little section of the verse, my man again is addressing some ugly things which has happened in our society and in our culture as hip hop and in our community as people of color, right? He says, JMJ, so for the youngins that don't know, JMJ is Jam Master Jay, who was part of Ron DMC. if y'all look up some of the old videos and pictures, y'all will see Jam Master Jay. Jam Master Jay got murdered at his studio in New York, and it's been speculated that Jam Master Jay knew the person that eventually killed him. I guess there was like a buzzer for security purposes or whatever at the studio. You'd push the buzzer, you'd see the person on screen, you push a button, let him in. It's kind of like like your typical New York apartment. Like you buzz someone in from down on the stoop. They push your number, you talk to him on the intercom, you buzz him in. You know what I mean? And then he says, the very next line after wish he ain't hit the buzzer. Nas is saying, I wish Jam Master Jay hadn't hit the buzzer that night. He'd probably still be around. The next line is like, Marvin Gaye to Young Dolph, we taking out our brothers. You know what I mean? Going back to the earlier verse where he's like, how could we hug it out after we slug it out? That was your brother back then. How could you gun him down? You know what I mean? So here he's talking about 3 prominent figures within our community that's been killed, and these individuals, these very dope artists have been killed over the span of several generations. So this is what Nas is highlighting right here. Marvin Gaye was killed back in the 80s by his father, no less. And then Jam Master Jay was killed in the early 2000s, and then right before this album came out, Young Dolph was gunned down. So Nas is showing, like, over the span of decades that through highlighting the deaths of these prominent figures, that over the decade nothing's has really changed within our community. You have brothers still gunning down brothers, you know what I mean? So again, it's just like ugly subjects over this very beautiful beat, showing Marvin Gaye, Jam Master Jay, Young Dolph, you know what I mean? It's just like nothing's changed. And then the very next line say, distorted faces, solemn features, we kill each other. You know what I mean? And with lines like that, it's just like dudes on the block with the screw face, seeing another dude doing his thing, they don't like it, they want to take him out. And in one of Nas's earlier work, I can't remember the track right now, there's a line where he's like, alcohol aging my niggas, you know what I mean? And then there was another rap, and maybe I'll get around and find it and do a reaction to that one day, where he was like essentially saying like he go back, to the ghetto or whatever, he's seen like a lot of dudes that used to be on the corner when they were young boys now are grown men still in the corner, aging, looking rough with the screw face, you know what I mean? But distorted features, like just drugs, alcohol, hard living over time, mess some people in the hood up, man. But yeah, that's a really intricate, crazy bar structure, just like tackling and highlighting some really ugly events in our culture and community.
Grown-ass women that'll have you set up to die. You really not a stepper, nigga, just step to the side. While I two-step on the beat, watch a veteran slide. JMJ see them coming, but she ain't hit the buzzer. Marvin Gaye to Young Dolph, we taking out our brothers. Distorted faces, silent features, we kill each other. It's Mr. Ugly Man, Marlon Wayans in their living color. It's ugly, it's ugly.
And that right there, my friend, that is what you call a callback. When he's like, it's Mr. Ugly Man, Marlon Wayans in Living Color. So Marlon Wayans did a character in Living Color called Mr. Ugly Man. And again, for y'all youngins out there, man, go look up In Living Color. I'm telling you, these episodes are wild. But that's a callback right there. He's calling back. It's, Shanae and Wanda, he's making a callback to his earlier mention of the In Living Color characters. Again, this is what you get with master storytellers and master writers and literary geniuses, because the callback to In Living Color, he didn't say In Living Color in the earlier mention. He says that's mad ugly. It's just like Shanae and Wanda. So you've got to be a thinker. You've got to be up on like pop culture and pop culture history to actually correlate the two. You know what I'm saying? To correlate the callback, Mr. Ugly Man in Living Color, to that earlier mention of Shanae and Wanda in the previous verse. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the kind of deep delve that I want to get into with these breakdowns, man. But that, my friends, was Nas Ugly. Actually, not quite done yet. Let me just let it ride. It's just going to be the verse.
Shit's ugly. Yeah, one time. It's ugly. It's ugly. Shit's ugly.
Yeah, that beat's so beautiful, man. I just always like to let it ride to the end. So that, my friends, was a reaction and breakdown to Nas Ugly from the album Magic, which was the first in the Magic series of albums he did with Hit Boy. I guess now you can call it Magic 1. You know what I mean? Magic 1. But yeah, man, that track is just amazing. Like, literally, there are times when I'm listening to this album and I get to that track and I just put it on repeat. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Help me grow this channel. This is a segment in a playlist called Strictly God Bars on my channel. I have so much more content on my channel. I'm a designer. I have a lot of videos showing off my work on my channel. Please check out some of those videos. Hit the likes, hit the subscribe, jump in the comments, help me grow this channel, you know what I mean? Help me just keep moving on, man, and keep me motivated to do more of these breakdowns, because I just don't like the simplistic shit of like, yeah, that's hot, you know what I mean? I want to like delve in the bars and the meanings behind them, you know what I mean? So until next time, next breakdown, peace, click the subscribe button.